Welcome back to IGN Live at Gamescom. I'm Brian. This is Chris from LEGO Worlds. What's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. How are you?
How's your new game going?
It's getting there. We've made quite a lot of progress even since the last time we spoke when the multiplayer came out.
So you and I talked at E3. I got to see this game for the first time.
Yeah.
It's beautiful madness, I think I was describing it as.
Yeah.
It's a big Lego sandbox game, which I think we've all wanted since we were kids. You guys just actually decided to make it.
Yeah, we totally went for it this time. We've not. It's one of those things where we've always wanted to kind of do it, and I think now that we're doing it, everyone at the office is just so happy that they're always chipping in with ideas and stuff. So they're really, really enjoying it as well.
So what's that feedback like, where people come up to you and they say, "Can you guys put this in here?" And you go, "I guess we got to do it," or do you go, "No, we have enough"?
Well, we've definitely got a lot of things on our suggestion board that we're trying to sort of work through. So
what are some of the things on there?
Oh man, everything. Just some of the crazy things. Like we have like dungeon master mode requests and things like that. So it's like, okay, well that's so people's like, oh, that might be nice. We've stuck it on the board. So a lot of the things that we've had requested, we've finally started to work through. So like we've introduced a first-person camera in the last update.
Yep.
The grapple gun was one that we're currently seeing here now, and then we've got a future update on the way, and that's where this comes into play. So as you can see now, we're actually in a town. Which is the first time we've had like a procedurally generated town within the worlds themselves.
Yes.
So at the moment, as you can see, we've now got these really nice buildings. These are very similar to the Lego Creator theme, which is where you see these really, really nice like streets made and by these master builders, effectively.
Which I really love that set because it really brings me back to the roots of Lego. I love all the licensed stuff, but it's also really cool to every now and then be like, oh, it's a VW buggy, or oh, it's an ice cream shop.
Yeah, totally, yeah. So I mean, a couple of the buildings in there are actually our official kind of Lego ones. So this red and blue in front is kind of like a deli, and then there's also like a bank that's nearby. We've also added like a few other little bits and pieces. So for example, our guy, he's currently climbing up our clock tower. The clock tower itself has a working clock now on the side. So that actually tells you the correct in-game time now. So basically whatever, so we've actually managed to so people have always said, oh, we don't know what time in the day it is because now we've got like, threat at night that we want to get out before the night comes. So we're like, well, here's a working clock.
Oh, there it is.
So we've got these really nice towns coming through. This is currently Creator. There are a couple of other different types of theme planned. So kind of like the castle medieval style and the Wild West style as well, because we've got really cool cowboys and stuff. So it's only fitting we do the Wild West style.
Any plans for space? That was always one of my favorites.
We haven't at the moment. No, we've had that one. That's a big request. It's definitely people are always talking about that one. So
you're like, oh man, now we got to do with gravity. We got to get rocket ships.
It's like, oh no, new physics.
Yes, brand new physics.
So and the other feature as well is obviously these road plates. These went into the multiplayer update we did back in July. Was it whatever that was? But what we want to do is kind of have the spectator people around the edge here, the sort of civilians, hop in their cars and drive the road. So we want to bring these to life in kind of cool ways. So if you're dressed as like the robber and you walk past a police officer, he's going to chase you. Or vice versa, if you're the police officer and you go near a robber, he's going to run away from you.
Right.
But we actually want the two AI to clash as well, the NPCs to clash in such a way that you'll always see like a policeman chasing a robber from the bank sort of area, I think.
So do characters have sort of natural enemies in the game? It seems like the monkeys are just tormenting everybody.
Yeah, the monkeys don't like anyone for some reason. Yeah, so there are some enemies that sort of do clash. There's a lot of like good and evil kind of characters. So we have like a king, and we also have like this dragon wizard who we've portrayed as kind of evil. So those two, whenever you see them in the street, they're kind of always after one another.
And what's happening here? There's just
we're playing a trumpet right now, and we've initiated what we call the dance party mode.
Yep.
Obviously, humour is just so important to our games. It's all well and fun having like serious structured stories, but we also love to put humour into it. Obviously, because we don't have necessarily the big sort of overarching plot, we've just kind of dialed the humour up to 11 a little bit. And we've got like bagpipes and trombones and stuff like that. So if you walk in front of certain characters, they'll start dancing.
What is that? What is that gun?
So this is an update. So normally before when we had to place characters in, they just kind of dangled and then you just click a button and they would fall in. So now we've got this effectively this model cannon. We're sort of dubbing it's the Discovery Tool is the official title of it. So you sort of select one of these characters and then you get this little beam and then you can place them down now.
Oh, that's great.
So the idea is you can also kind of aim it a bit more. So whereas before it was kind of like you're roughly clicking and placing them. So like if you want to put the king at the top, you can launch him up the top. And it means now we just get a bit more accuracy, and it means you can sort of set them around in like a fun environment then.
That's really cool. You've sort of created this sci-fi answer to the question of how do we drop things in this world without them just raining from the heavens. Yeah, it's been really cool to see this game grow because I think when we saw it last, you showed me this sort of sandboxy environment of this sort of mountain, and now there's a dragon, of course.
Yeah, it's the go-to thing. Just drop the dragon in.
But now we've got cities, we've got more people running around. So now we've got this king and this dragon, and this is basically just a gigantic gigantic, chaotic mode. And you're playing as the dragon now.
Yeah, now you're riding the dragon.
You're riding the dragon.
Now you ride the dragon, you fly off, and you can go up to the clouds, you can go down and low.
You would need, like, this is like sports commentating to keep up with this. Like, now, like, so we're seeing the destructible environments now again. This dragon is just causing mayhem everywhere.
Yeah, my wonderful rendered town is now just being absolutely obliterated by a dragon.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm not too happy anymore. A lot of work went into these houses, but we've actually decided with the houses as well that we're going to try and make like floored versions of them. So you can make like bungalows or triple story houses and sort of put them into the towns as well, so you can add to the town effectively.
We do a show at IGN called Up at Noon, and I bring toys into the room every single week. And the other day I was walking in with a Star Wars Lego, and it dropped and fell and hit the floor. And it's devastating because it makes you go, well, I'm going to have to build this thing piece by piece from scratch all over again. But in this game, breaking Legos is fun. You don't feel that bad about it.
No, you don't necessarily feel bad about it. Well, we do have the multiplayer mode, like I mentioned. So what we have said is, because it's a host and client kind of setup where friends join a host, we have given the host the option to set their mode to read-only. So if any annoying little brother comes in and starts like terrorizing and just destroying this city of yours.
Which is good.
Which is good. And then you
the
can
internet is full of annoying
and then
brothers.
well, yeah, exactly. You know, everyone's got an annoying little brother or cousin or something in their world. So if they come through and just absolutely destroy your perfect build you've spent thousands of hours on, you can revert back to the original save state.
Now, let's talk about that. You can build a building from scratch piece by piece?
Yep, that's correct. So we've got the brick building tool here, which is this little function here. So as you can see, we've got the classic 2x4 Lego brick.
Yep.
We've got a massive selection of them. So we've got all sorts of different like masonry bricks. We've got these really interesting like lattices and arches, plates, road tiles, doors and windows. You know, we've tried to fill in as many as we possibly can. People always want more, obviously. But what's really interesting is we are able to sort of transfer the save state of a model between one of Lego's own tools called the LDD tool.
Right.
And what's been really cool is our community sort of reached out and gone, you know, we don't support every brick in LDD, so we've made a palette for LDD. Here's the Lego Worlds palette. So they've just done that for us. So we've had really good community interaction, and they've been all over it. It's been really, really fun. I think some of the multiplayer builds are incredible.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's awesome about a game like this is that the more people that get their hands on it, the more you're going to be rewarded as developers and just as fans of Lego to see what people make. I mean, I think I go on like Lego message boards and I watch just people making bridges and towns and castles from scratch, piece by piece, and they're going on the internet and they're buying individual bricks. You guys might actually cost Lego a lot of money because those guys might just make it here.
Maybe. Well, no, Lego have been really keen. They've been really helpful on this, and it's like there's a lot of the classic themes, like we mentioned. You know, we're not using a lot of the IP stuff. We're going really with the core Lego themes, but we've also delved in some of the old back cat that they've got as well. So we've looked at things like the Pharaoh's Quest sets that we used to have. So we've got some of their characters and stuff, and they've just been like, yeah, we can do this. So they're really none of their old sort of playset themes have ever been off limits. So it's been really, really cool.
Are you starting to get requests from like some of the more passionate Lego fans of very obscure little pieces and bricks?
Yeah, every time.
So
some guy wanted like a Technics bricks. So like the mechanical side of things. We're like, all the bricks are technically terrain, so they don't move.
Yeah.
So to add a Technics brick might be a little bit tricky, but you know, again, stick it on the suggestion board and let's see what we can do. And if, you know, we have a long plan for this. Like we're not just going to give up and leave it. It's like even when we say it's out of early access, it's not finished. We're going to do more.
It's going to keep growing.
It's just going to keep going.
It was like we said before, though. You've created a physics engine for this. And even right down to the destruction. It's so satisfying to see Lego get destroyed, not have to worry about stepping out of it.
You haven't got to sweep it up or anything and box it back up afterwards. But, so yeah, this is one of the more popular features as well. People have really enjoyed this. And again, this is where kind of community feedback's kind of driven the design approach. So one of the things people wanted to do was be able to build it easier underground. And one of the problems they said was, can we have a first-person camera? So we weren't going to originally do one because we've never really done first-person cameras in our games before. So we said, we totally should put a first-person camera in. So we've added the first-person camera, and as a result, we've now seen lots of underground sort of cave networks, dungeons, you know, really interesting, intricate builds and stuff.
Wow!
And we've really updated our lighting effects.
And you just made this. Like this was we just made this right here. This tunnel now exists because
of huge cave,
our destruction.
Absolutely. So then, you know, and also we've made loads of changes to the lighting and everything over the last 12 months. Just to really give it not a hyper realistic feel, but give it like a sense of, you know, you're really achieving something by going down where it gets darker. Pull out the lantern. Now what can you do?
So there isn't really a dedicated story in this game.
No, not really. We are looking at sort of certain ways of introducing like some minor progression setup, particularly early on, where people can get used to the tools. But there's no sort of overarching sort of theme or story that dedicates what you must do. We really want to stress the point that it's kind of what you make of it, really.
And that's kind of liberating, right?
Absolutely.
Of course. It lets you focus on just the toy box approach.
Absolutely. It's kind of challenging in some ways, though, because people are like, oh, can you describe Lego Worlds to me? It's like, have you got an hour?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, obviously, it's like, I've got 5 minutes, go. So it's like, well, okay, so build anything you want to do and go anywhere and create everything and blow it up afterwards.
I think the best way to describe this game is that every time I've seen it, it's delighted me in a different way. Which is, it's not like looking at something like Tetris where you're like, I got it within 4 seconds. Every time I see this game, there's something new, and part of that is because this is an ever-growing platform.
Absolutely, yeah.
And also because it's just really fun and ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. It's obviously we don't get to get out with it much all the time. We talk to a lot of people about it,
right?
But when we went to like some of the conventions and shows, like we're here today, to actually see people playing it and sort of laughing and chuckling, and it's actually really rewarding because you're like, oh wow, that is actually really funny. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see that there isn't really a dedicated story, because I feel like, and this might be getting a little too much here, but I feel like kids aren't playing with toys as much as they used to. And I know when we were younger, you pick up any 2 toys and just create an adventure out of them.
Yep.
And this sort of brings that back to me, is seeing, well, here's a bear, here's a butterfly. Let's go with the bear. What do we got? Look at all these animals.
Yep. So we've got bears, we've got mixels, we've got a badger, which is a aggressive little thing. We've got these elephants.
Look at this elephant.
So, and almost everything is an official Lego piece as well. So it's nice to say that we're sticking very true to the brand.
So, how many elephants can you put on screen at the same time?
I think it's like 15 or 20. Something.
20 elephants?
I think we've put a limit in there for now, just to sort of keep an eye on this sort of memory usage. But I'm pretty sure you can just keep going for ages. I think if you so you can just launch. That was an amazing shot.
That was great. Thank you for throwing that elephant at that building.
And then, of course, you can run around in them. And the idea is...
And the dragon's still here.
Yeah, of course, he'll hang around for a while. He's just walking the streets now looking for something to do. So the idea is we want the big creatures are always rideable. They're always rideable. Even some of the really small ones, like some of the small husky dogs, you can sort of hop on the back and sort of ride them away. It's only things like butterflies and spiders, you can't really stand them. So we've got these sort of really... just nice range of different size, shape, scale, animals and creatures in the game.
See, and I'm watching all this unfold, and I'm going, you know what? I can make a zoo.
Yeah.
Because you can make buildings, and you can make pens, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's tons of animals.
Yeah, and actually, some of the game's mechanics try and teach you almost kind of how to do that. So we have you might see a farmer who needs to herd his cows or his sheep or his pigs. So you get this green ring, and it's like, can you please build me a pen to put those animals in? So it kind of teaches you that behavior, and then afterwards you go, wow, and now I want to do that with lions and bears and all sorts of things.
Now, obviously you have a lot of preset stuff here, but what sort of plans do you have for letting the community upload their builds?
We are working on something, so you can save your models and you can share it. And we actually, a lot of the builds in the pre-build list were actually made by community members.
Oh, cool.
They gave them to us. We made some challenges and stuff. We had a couple of guys also sort of say, oh, do you want this as well? So, some of these ones in there, like the Lighthouse, all that castle set with all the modular castle pieces, some guy, a user made that and gave it to us.
Sure.
We had a wonderful cloud palace thing we had in the past as well. So this is the Lighthouse. So this was made by a user on Steam.
Wow.
And they entered the competition, they won, and we said, okay, we'll take the model and put it in game. But the next step is obviously we need a model sharing setup so that people can share their creations with their friends. And
so
stuff.
He designed the interior?
He did everything. He built the whole thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he built the whole thing.
And then was able to upload it. Because it reminds me of, what was it, Kuso? The Kuso
Lego Ideas,
the Lego Ideas system they used to have, which we saw, like what was it? There was that lunar lander thing that was made.
Yes, there was things like Exo 1 and everything.
It's very cool to see that, because it's leaning into the fact that the audience is building stuff regularly, and they want to show it to people, and I can't think of a better way than just having them have the freedom of showing it off in this game. It's very cool.
I mean, there you can sort of see the scale of the town. So that's a pre-gen, where the road network size is a pre-gen. They can be bigger, they can be small, they can be down to literally 1 or 2 houses. So you kind of get like the hamlet kind of feel up to the big city sort of scopes.
So you get to sort of decide what kind of size of the space you want to play in.
Yeah, I mean, the cities themselves kind of generate with the world itself, but if you want to add to it, you can just keep adding the plates and you keep adding the buildings in yourself. So obviously there's a few vacant spots in the middle of it, which is kind of like us inviting you to sort of add that to yourself. I kind of started a build there with 1 row of bricks and gave up halfway, not even halfway through, but the idea is we want you to sort of feel that you can add to it, and then that kind of inspires you to, oh, actually, I'm going to level the terrain next to it and keep building.
It's a testament to how consistently delightful this game is that I didn't even bat an eye that you just jumped off a roof with a kangaroo. I was like, yeah, that's normal. That's fine.
That's what we
Keep
do.
it in there.
So yeah, I think one of the sort of takeaways we've had this week has been Dragon Wizard riding a kangaroo off of a cloud. It's like brilliant. That's the game right there. So we've had wonderful fun with it.
So what's happening here?
This is the export tool. So this is how you save your models. So this, you sort of draw the box around it once you're happy with what you've got. So we're just going to capture one of our houses that we already have. And when he captures that, he's going to go into this secondary phase of it. and it's this version.
Oh,
So if there's anything in there that you don't want to take with you, so maybe like you've caught a few landscape bricks that you didn't want, you can remove them in this section. It's kind of like a mini Maya tool almost. And then you just export it out, and you save it, you take the icon, and that's now saved in your personal models list. And then the next step, like I said, after that will be the sharing functionality to go with it.
And do you ever run into a sort of limit of how many blocks or bricks you can put into one sort of item or area?
No, I mean the box itself has got a predetermined size. We actually measure everything in stud count.
Really?
So the actual the plates there, we measure each thing by stud. So it's got like a 256 by 250 by 6 stud count. It's what you can fill. And the worlds themselves are in some sort of like hundreds of thousands of studs or something like that. So
hundreds of thousands. That's nuts.
We've never really pushed it to the limit on actually trying to fill the void and just say how much memory that would take. I think we're too scared. We had a guy come over and he had like a 70-odd gig hard drive save file from this game, and he was sort of showing us all his builds he'd made. We were like, oh my god, we're really sorry we filled your hard drive. And he was like, no, I love it. I'm going to get another hard drive.
I feel like there would be like smoke and steam coming out of it. So people can play this game right now.
Yes, we're on early access on Steam. I think it's $19.99, €14.99 euros.
For near limitless Lego.
Absolutely,
building abilities.
As much as your hard drive can handle.
Yeah, and as much as your hard drive can handle. And from there, people can build stuff and upload it into the game eventually, and we'll see how that works.
Yeah, and people are sharing their screenshots with us on Steam forums, and we're active on the Steam forums. We're sort of commenting and sort of giving people feedback, advice, helping with troubleshooting, things like that. You know.
Awesome. Well, that is Lego Worlds. You can play it right now, and you should, because I want you out there building cool stuff and jumping off of roofs with kangaroos and fighting dragons, because all of that is so much fun. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to be live streaming right here at Gamescom all week long, so stay tuned.